Okay, hi everyone. It's almost 7 in the morning on a Tuesday, and I'm just getting started on my workday. So, I've been working on this update for over a month now, um, and we're fixing some major problems in the framework. And we're also getting prepared for a new series, which is starting. Well, we're starting recording this weekend. Probably won't be out this weekend, but we'll see. Where I'm going to be teaching someone how to make a program using the framework which I've developed over the past few years. So the reason this update's taken so long is because I actually broke my finger at the late January. So I've been had my hand in a splint, my right hand, which is my dominant hand, for 5 weeks now, 4 weeks or something. So that's really slowed down progress and my ability to type. Um, but yeah, that comes off this week, so then everything should be back to normal, and we can press on and hopefully have a bit more of a productive year. So, what are the problems I've been working on? I'm not going to go heaps into detail into them, but we'll just give you a brief overview. So, like, when when I first made this framework, I didn't really understand how kind of pointers work in Java. Like I did, but I didn't really understand how to take full advantage of how they work. And anyway, when there's been this bug basically for as long as the frameworks existed, where in the rendering pipeline, I stupidly designed it so that so like every second the program has to produce 60 frames roughly, right? So every 1/60th of a second, the program needs to produce one frame. And when it would produce that frame, it would call the operating system for some memory. Uh, Now, that might not sound too bad if you're unfamiliar with programming, but like calling the operating system for memory 60 times a second just indefinitely is really not good. So, what I've done is set up a bit of a buffer system where when the program first starts, it looks at like how much memory it will need to actually create 3 frames. I think it's three, it might be two. We might have just done double buffering. Anyway, and it gets that much memory, and then when when we create a frame, we just write into that memory, and then we go to the next little spot in the array and we write into that memory when we do the next frame, and then at some point we come back to the start and we just write over the old data. Um, yeah, it was a really quite a big problem because the garbage collection in Java is, I mean, you can tweak it, but it's kind of slow by design. It's not supposed to be running all the time. So what would happen is we would be asking the OS to make all these frames, and we'd be just like drawing the game into one frame, and then we'd throw it away. We'd just be like, okay, we don't need that anymore, throw it in the garbage. And then we quickly had this big pile of garbage images building up, um, which you would see if you would watch the task manager when the program was running. It would like start at 100 meg, then it would quickly go 200, 300, 5, 6, 700 megabytes of RAM. Then Java's garbage collection would kick in, and it would be like, oh, there's a big pile of empty, of useless images here that we don't need anymore, and it would clear them all the way, and you would drop back down to a couple hundred meg. So anyway, that should be all fixed when this new update releases. We should just have basically consistent memory usage, other than obviously when you need to expand memory usage, like if you're adding more things into a level or whatever. Um, but yeah, just for rendering, that should all be better. Um, there was another kind of similar issue with sprites where not only were they doing the same thing, so if you would draw into a sprite, it would be the same problem. It would have to request more memory. But it also had a worse problem where if you did have, let's say, a game object and it had a sprite on it, and you changed something on the sprite, like, I don't know, it got hit by an object and you wanted to draw some splatter onto it, you do that, it wouldn't actually pass that new updated image into the like rendering pipeline. It would just like it basically would just set within the sprite, within the game, a new pointer or a new image, and then you would have to manually, for every game object, call set raster, and then you would get the sprite that already existed within the object, and you would call get raster on that sprite, which is just a stupid thing that would constantly end up with basically you'd be like, oh, why isn't it working? And then you'd realize, oh, I forgot to call set sprite get sprite. So that's done now. You don't have to do that anymore. Whenever you have a game object, if you want to edit the sprite, those changes are automatically like pushed forward through into the pipeline. So that's a lot better. Yeah, and there's just a whole bunch of documentation I've been going through. Like if we look here, all of these comments, these little things in white, just getting ready for basically releasing this software to other people that aren't me. So like, when you call hint overall advanced, you get a little bit of a comment that tells you kind of what that does. So yeah, hopefully I can get on with this and get it done and ready for the weekend to start filming this new series. So yeah, keep an eye out for that, guys. I haven't really got a title for it yet. I think the working title we landed on was like, you want to join in the convo, Mittens? I think we called it like learning to program in Java, or make commercial apps in Java, or something like that. The idea is basically I'm going to teach someone else. They're going to ask me all the questions that I, maybe seem obvious to me or to people who are more advanced. But as a newbie, there's lots of things that you forget that you need to know. Once you've been doing it for a number of years, you're kind of like on autopilot a little bit, and lots of little things that seem obvious to a beginner, to an expert, or someone, I'm not an expert, but someone who's more advanced, are not so obvious to someone who's a beginner. So that should be good. Yeah. And if you guys want to make commercial applications, you'll be able to follow along and make your own apps with the framework and release them, and do whatever you want with them from there. So I'll just leave it there for now, guys. And potentially this video will drop on Sunday. If that doesn't happen, it might come out next week. We did talk about possibly building up a bit of a back catalog and then releasing them all one week after another. So yeah, they might not come out next week. We'll see. All right. Anyway, thanks for watching and listening to my rambling. We didn't really watch anything, but thanks for listening to my ramble about upcoming stuff, and or preamble, I suppose. I should also, yeah, anyway, I'll just leave it there. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot. And I'll see you all soon, hopefully. Okay. Bye-bye.